off an issue that I discovered in Godot. So I have this basic scene set up, like super basic. It's like just like a mock subway car. I wanted to sort of have here here's the walls, and then some static lights at the top of the subway car. But then as you're in the subway car, let me play the scene. Then there's lights that will, like, as the subway starts, the lights are passing you basically. So it's like as if you're moving inside of a subway car. So the lights that are coming in through, imagine that there's windows here. Again, this is very, very, very basic at the moment, but you would see these lights come on the character and not necessarily hit the floor like this, because there would be chairs and things, or I guess rows of seating on the side, or however you have it set up. But essentially, like, these lights that are coming through are fine, but these static lights, these omni lights on the top, are acting very strangely. So if I get close to them, they get bright like that. And I couldn't figure out for the longest, like, what was going on. Asked in the Godot forum, on Discord actually, and it just got lost and ignored. So I figured I would make a quick video. If people see an issue with lighting like this, then I'll tell you what the solution is. So basically, if you're running your project there's 3 modes you can run it in. There's forward plus, there's mobile, and there's compatibility. If you're running it in mobile, which I am right now, which is basically to, I guess, save resources and allow it to work a little bit easier, then this lighting issue pops up. At least on my machine it does. So if I switch to, let me close this, and if I switch to the top right hand side of Godot, you'll see the little drop down for mobile, forward plus, or compatibility. I'm going to switch to forward plus, restart the project, and what you will see is that essentially the lighting issue is fixed. So my suggestion is, if you're going to be using lighting in a Godot project, then you should definitely be using forward plus, because if you're not, you might get some strange things happening, like that lighting issue that I was having previously. So it's something to be aware of. Basically, there's a lot of there's some features that don't work if you're not in forward plus mode, like volumetric fog, for example, and so that's a thing. The other part of this is that I think it's quite interesting for, like, you don't necessarily, if you're going to become a Godot developer, I feel like you don't necessarily need to create entire games. You could just create, like, objects, like this subway car, for example. You add, all of the sort of functional things, right? The lighting, all the collision detection stuff. So you could add, like, as the train starts, the lights move slowly to fast, and then as it stops, and sort of add functionality like that. Obviously, like seating and windows and some shake to really, like, capture the movement. And then there's the option of, like, stylization, which could be left up to, like, the end developer, if you wanted to, like, list something like this on a marketplace, because some people would want it to be very, like, cartoonish, and some people would want it to be very dramatic and realistic looking. So I just find this kind of an interesting thing, is where, like, if you're trying to learn, you don't always have to focus on making an entire game. You could just focus on making, like, a specific object like this. So, obviously this is super low poly. It's like, right now it's just sitting on a world boundary. But as this would be developed, you'd get the optical illusion of being inside of a subway car and having movement, that sort of thing. So thought it was something interesting to share. Be aware of your compatibility modes, especially when it comes to lighting.